Right, so the first two Mystic cards are revealed. Wide Blue Yonder and Big Blue Sky. Now, off-rip in base, right? Again, we don't know what actual synergies Mystic has. Big Blue Sky is awful, in my opinion, right? So let's go through its merit. This gets +1 for each blue card you've pitched this turn. So, on your opponent's turn, how many blues are you pitching? Not that many, right? Unless, again, synergy, but theoretically, you're playing something else and this, maybe, or you play this and something else, or, again, it's a long chain, you've played something, and then this. But, again, the emphasis is on playing, right? So in a long chain sequence, you'll be using cards to defend, you're not pitching them. If this red for each blue card you've defended with, maybe, in a vacuum situation, right? This, you can't pitch into it. So already it's not helpful. If it was like 4 and you could pitch 2 blue into it, maybe, and its base was higher. But yeah, again, no scenario in my head does this really work out as good card economics, right? Imagine you have another defense reaction. It costs. So using 3 cards for that defense reaction and this, right? So Big Blue Sky, 1 card, something to pitch, 1 card, and then defense reaction. Well, does that sum then beat out just having those 3 cards or having a different card? So because of the 2 starting points, right, and the single game for pitch, I don't think this is as good as it could be, as playable as it potentially could be. Again, if there's actual blue synergy, if the chi mechanic is something as simple as, end of your turn, if you've pitched, blue card, gain 1 chi or something like that. Again, that's the direction it looks like we're heading. Real emphasis on blue. So I'm just interjecting myself here because I don't think I quite explained my thought process when it came to Big Blue Sky. So what I mean is, because it starts at 2, the whole rationale for me is, why run this in your deck where it's a dead card under any normal circumstance? The only situation it works in is, again, if you've played some other defense reaction that costs or something else that costs, to then turn this into a, the golden block, a 3 block, right? When you could run better things, right? Cards that aren't just dead on, a normal turn. They actually have another purpose, or they account for more block. There are actually fantastic other blue blocks, as we found out, again, playing Melody. And then also you've got the awkward situation of, sure, I can pitch this, I can cycle it back, but then eventually just whittles down to a 2 block with no real upside, right? So if you think about all the cards have 2 blocks, well, that's because you can play them, you can do something else that makes up for that less defense. So yeah, I don't see the merit in Blue Sky. I understand it's a blue pitchable, so it fits with the theme of the deck. It's a situational card, so you can either pitch it or then get to the point where you can finally cash in for that sweet 1 extra defense. Again, you've paid for a defense reaction, so now you're turning this into a 3 block, so you're getting that slight synergy, that slight bonus. I think if it was 2 and +2 or 3 and +2, I'd like it a lot more. But in this situation, I can think of better things to run than just, again, banking on this and that situation of having played something else to then turn it into a 3 block, rather than just hold it and have it dead on my turn, other than just being able to pitch it. I don't see Big Blue Sky being really playable in any sense. Just, again, you don't have enough cards to actually make use of it on your opponent's turn. Now, Wide Blue Yonder, that is a whole different scenario. But we'll leave that be. We'll talk about that last, because it's definitely a card I'm already super excited for. The chi mechanic. So, we have completed the Illusionist trifecta, as many people have said, right? We have Dromai, red, we have a light prism as yellow, and now we have Enigma or Mystic as blue. So that's a cool concept, right? They all have a solid color identity. But where does that put Zen and Nu, right? If, again, emphasis on blue. Well, there's still things that we don't usually see, right? You want aggro as ninja, and you don't usually need that many blue cards. But if we are emphasizing blue, well, I'm curious the types of buffing or anything like that sprouts from that. And also, in terms of Crouching Tiger, well, blue all performs the worst, right? You get the least amount of tokens, you get the least amount of buffs. So it will be interesting to see if they carry blue across the board, right? Or again, try and tie it directly to Enigma and have some alternative ways to generate chi. But I think the the main headcanon for a lot of people is it's just going to be an alternative pitch mechanic, right? So if not something as simple as when you pitch this card, you have a choice to gain chi from it or resources, to something like, again, you know, however many blues you have in your pitch stack at the end of your turn equates to how much chi you generate. And that is interesting, because if chi is long lasting, if it's just as simple as a token generation, wide blue Yonder, and overall what we have done regularly on this channel, is kind of a red flag to me in terms of the power level. Because wide blue Yonder, target attack gets +1 for each blue card you've pitched this turn. Now, isn't that quite similar to Final Act, right? But here's the thing about Final Act, especially the initial versions we were running. We basically only pitched blue. We don't run copper. So that's the other big thing. We don't use Melody's ability. Everything I've done with Melody on this channel has been built around generics, pitching blue, and playing Final Act. So if this isn't just a fringe effect, and again, this is Mystic's identity, pitching blue in its entirety, well, we already have a tried and tested engine that works wonderfully with it. That, again, in my opinion, in Classic Constructed, perform even better, because you have HP pool, you can wait and act as, I guess, a snake or a crouching tiger. I don't know, I'm trying to make it fit, to actually then go into the sequence. So, it makes me super excited. It makes me a little disappointed that Melody is not a Mystic hero. I don't know if I could spin it in some way. God, just a Final Act in with wide blue Yonder would be cool. Right? It basically, instead of double, it's just triple your pitch stack. But yeah, so wide blue Yonder, even big blue sky, if this is a tell of what's to come, even if chi is some sort of other generation. If, again, all we get is a bunch of synergy for pitching and stacking blue cards, right? To sort of circumvent the weakness of running blue cards, right? Again, their stats being lesser on average, then I just can't. I will be playing the hell out of it. But I can't help but think it's going to be, you know, a decently above the average from what we've, again, tested, because it's really not that hard to consistently pitch a whole bunch of blue, and that's on a big swing turn, right? So on lesser turns, where you're just playing on curve, you're just playing normally, and you're doing your best you can, you already have more resources, so you can do more powerful things, more heavy attacks. Right, if they give it some sort of big chain, right, where you are actually playing heavy costed cards that then have go again and fit the normal assassin and ninja bill, well, that's interesting itself. But yeah, everything we've done with Melody, right, this is where my brain goes straight away, is now just getting a ton of synergy. We're replacing Melody, replacing Final Act is a big payoff, but that's all fine. We're taking, again, consistent draw engine that does not rely on Melody's effect. Everything is played from the generic slot, so it automatically fits into any three of these, again, if this is the style of card we're getting, and works beautifully. Now, obviously, you might want to keep some of your equipment, but easy enough to then stack up 4 silver, 5 silver. I mean, the simple fact that we now have access to 2 weapon slots for 2 of the heroes is a big plus as well. And you play 2 wide blue Yonders, and that's basically the Final Act combo, right? And you can stack them onto a different attack. Now, it does run into the whole scenario of how many cards do the sequence, but you're basically replacing Encore with a wide blue Yonder and Final Act with some other attack, right? You then need 1 extra wide blue Yonder in a archetype that is going to heavily synergize with the concept. So yeah, I'm super excited to see what other cards we get, even if it's just wide blue Yonder. Even if chi doesn't have anything to do with blue, it's still a big fun card to mess about with, to still use the same draw engine, still play the deck the same, but now move it across to either Assassin, Ninja, or even Illusionist, right? And I can't think of anything broken in Illusionist. Ninja or Assassin, I'm sure there's something regarding, you know, doing damage and translating X effect or something like that. So that could be fun, or even replicating maybe. I'll have to look through the cards, but yeah, if it's just blue, I'm happy. If it's just this card, I'm happy. I'm happy. Gets me more and more pumped for Mistveil right? I really like the design of the heroes, but yeah, just it synergizes with everything we've been playing. Anyway, what do you think? Right? Is this the gimmick for Chi? Is it just blue pitching? Is it as simple as that, or is it a bit more concept? I do think they probably have an overarching type of generation. Again, if it's just pitch a blue generator Chi, instead of getting the pitch value generator Chi or something like that. And then they do have specific Chi generation for each hero. Because again, they play differently and they want to use their abilities at different frequencies, right? Again, in terms of new, it's your big payoff, your big finisher. In terms of Enigma, it's something you probably want to play every single turn. And then Zen is probably every other turn. But then also the fact that they've, done once per turn instant, once per turn instant. You should be able to play these more regularly versus new, who, I don't know, maybe plays it a couple times in a turn, but we're all thinking the same thing. All you're really playing this for is the end effect. The Banish is definitely cool. I mean, it would be awesome just to have a big mill deck, right? That is just mill. I know Fish was mentioning his assassin is basically mill. So yeah, interested to try that out. Excited. First look at Mystic. Again, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Big Blue Sky does actually pay off at 2 and +1, right? To make it 4, to make it above the majority of other cards you could run, you have to pitch 2 blue cards. Not pitch anything, pitch 2 blue cards. So you're already losing 2 cards from hand. It just doesn't make sense to me, right? You just don't have enough cards in your hand to either make this a big block or add this to other blocks and still make it a decent block. I mean, I guess the idea is just that it's a 0 for 3, right? Then you still need that other payoff of having blocked something else. Anyway, it might be decent, but it's not exciting. We'll put it that way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.